all ages, and it's incredibly important for our community. Since the Mackinac Policy Conference, where we had John O'Brien, the CEO of Operation Hope, the author of the book, How to Hoard and Save Capitalism, we've been working with Mayor Duggan and Operation Hope to really accelerate financial literacy in our neighborhood. And I'm really pleased that our first keynote speaker today is indeed John O'Brien. I've had the pleasure and the honor of working with and knowing John O'Brien for well over a dozen years in multiple cities. When I think of the one individual that I know that combines passion, combines intellect, that combines relationships, that combines innovation, that combines sweat equity in making the free market and entrepreneurship work, not just for the few, but for the many, I think of John O'Brien. When I think of change making, I think of John O'Brien. When I think of a leader's leader, I think of John O'Brien. When I feel inspired, I think of John O'Brien. And when I think of friend, I think of John O'Brien. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and your friend, John O'Brien, Operation Hope.
Good morning. You know, the mayor really deserves to be commended. And I've got to know him and I like him. You'll hear from him later today, I think. You know, but he is an elected official. It's sort of your job. This is not Sandy's job. Some would argue that, and Sandy sort of suggested it. Some people are saying, why is the chamber in this space? Let me make it clear. As clear as I can be. After traveling to 100 countries and countless cities, 600,000 air miles last year alone, meeting leaders and those who say they're leaders. Sandy is in the Detroit Chamber by extension. Literally the best group of organized leaders for business development
coming through.
in the country.
I need to stop this. I can't stop
It is
it
even
unless
more,
I
yes,
reboot.
give yourself applause.
And I don't
You
want to
should.
reboot.
And you should recognize that
I can't reboot.
eagles don't fly in packs. You've never seen a flock of eagles.
I got your camera.
And eagles
You got
will
the
get
one on
shot
top.
at, will get criticized. People may not understand them. That doesn't mean
This
they're wrong.
one here.
I'd argue that what you're doing here is even more progressive than in my own home city. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. And before Atlanta, I lived in Los Angeles. And my friends there won't like what I have to say. But what you're doing here is more progressive. What the chamber is doing here, what Sandy is doing here, is truly thought-provoking and progressive. So you say, okay, John, this is a social issue. No, it's not. I tell my wealthy friends,
So I'm seeing this.
rich friends, my rich friends need my poor friends to do better for me to stay rich.
Yeah. Okay.
70% of the U.S. economy is consumer spending.
You want to check the mics real quick? Yeah.
I want to let that sit in with you for a moment. 70% of the U.S. economy, $17 trillion of GDP.
Where am I? You're going to be
The
here.
whole world economy is only
But check them both.
$63 trillion. We're a quarter of the world economy. We're only a fraction of the world population, 350 million people versus 7 billion, give or take, in the world. And yet we're a quarter of the world economy, and 70% of that is consumer spending, and 70% of that 70% are living from paycheck to paycheck. And by the way, that's a Federal Reserve statistic. If the Federal Reserve is saying that 70% of Americans are living from paycheck to paycheck,
Oh, wait a minute.
you must hypothesize that it's
Hello.
What does that mean?
Bombastic.
That means you got
Bombada, bombastic. Bombada, bombastic.
I'm sorry, that's none of you. You're all just super rich. You're all doing extraordinarily well. But somebody in here is a cousin Boo. The sister here, she just put her hand there. Oh, he did not go there. Cousin Bubba, cousin Boo Boo. Do you know what I'm talking about? Somebody got a cousin here, a brother and sister friend.
Hello, hello, hello.
At the end of the month, who's struggling from paycheck to paycheck.
Bada boom, bada bing, boom, bam, bam. Bada boom, bing, bang,
See, that
boom.
wasn't a black yes, it wasn't a Latino yes, it wasn't an Asian yes, it wasn't an Indian yes, it wasn't a Latino yes. Whether you're white, black, red, brown, or yellow, you want to see some more green.
How we looking?
You guys are a hard audience. I'm giving you some good stuff. It's going right over your heads. Like, wake up, the coffee's in the back.
How we looking? How we looking?
I came all across the country, brought it at 2 in the morning to give you a free speech. You better.
Here, there, get that little camera. Give my cell phone. Take a picture. Take a
For
picture.
Detroit. For the people of Detroit.
Let's see. Let's
But
see.
Detroit is not an American city. Detroit is an idea. And America needs Detroit to succeed. I said this at Mackinac. I'll say it again. The wealthiest city in the world 60 plus years ago was Detroit, wealthier than Paris, wealthier than New York, wealthier than London, wealthier than Dubai. The wealthiest city in the world was Detroit, not in America, the world. Larger GDP than most countries. And somehow,
No, I was leaning down too much.
America is not a country, she's an idea. She's an idea. It's the only nation
Okay, hold on.
with every race of people in their borders. Think about that. Because you don't do business with people you don't reflect, respect, or understand. And you don't do business with companies or governments, you do business with people. My only spiritual comment today. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience.
Okay, hold on.
We are spiritual beings.
We don't have any light.
Life's about relationships, it's about energy. So let me talk about energy. It's right.
Right.
So let's try to drill this down and talk about what's
Try
I think
not.
is the game changer in Detroit to make you once again the trendsetter, the trend leader, and I think the transformational city model for the nation in the 21st century in America and by the world. 1865. Arguably the best president we ever had, President Abraham Lincoln. After the Emancipation Proclamation, after the Civil War, March 3rd, 1865, created the Freedom Bank. Nobody knows about it, all for history. The bank's mission, teach freed slaves about I pause for effect. Because Lincoln underscored a subtle but unmistakable point that you can't be free with physical freedom until you've got financial freedom. In fact, real freedom is really self-determination, and you cannot determine yourself in a free enterprise system without understanding the language of money. I was in Jordan, and leaders from Israel were there, which shows everybody can get along. And Shimon Peres told me, John, you're going to be criticized somewhat for your messaging, and you tell them this. Even if you want to distribute money like a socialist, you got to first collect money like a capitalist. I'm just going right over your head. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's taped. Lincoln was a visionary. We don't have time to get into the details, but the 3 months of January to March 1865 were probably the most strategically important months in all of American history from a public policy perspective. And it kept off this Freedmen's Bank. Lincoln was killed by Douglas. Frederick Douglass went on to run the bank. Lincoln died, and Frederick Douglass is known as an abolitionist. Is really a businessman.
Yeah, get him over here. Get him right here. We're ready. We are ready. We are ready.
Of his own money up to run the bank. When it failed, $10,000 in 1865. It's $20 million today. In a bank the government owned, he knew he wasn't going to get the money back. You're not talking about a civil rights leader, you're talking about a civil rights leader. A businessman who took on the abolitionist model. When the bank failed, because it had been gained by political operatives after Lincoln's death, Frederick Douglass and leaders said the failure of this bank did more to set free slaves and turn it back to 10 more years of slavery. You pop your fingers and you fast forward to a guy named Reverend Leon Sullivan. Before I get to him, let me go to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 1968, April 1968. And my hero, Ambassador Andrew Young and Dr. King were in Memphis, Tennessee, pushing the policy because that was the next integration after civil rights. And by the way, Dr. King wasn't about black people. We talked about black people. No, but he said, I'm here to redeem the soul of America from the triple evils of war, racism, and poverty. He knew those things were keeping us from being who we could be to allow us to express all of our God-given talents to grow our GDP. And when he was in Memphis, Dr. King said this in April of '68 about the Poor People's Campaign. He said, you cannot legislate goodness, you cannot pass a law for someone to respect you. The only way to social justice in the capitalist country is economic development. Dr. King was killed in April of '68, literally 100 years after Lincoln was killed the same month. Oddly enough, this makes Mother's April of every year. Dr. King's lieutenant, Andrew Young, now Ambassador Andrew Young, my mentor, our global spokesman, after Reverend Leon Sullivan stands up, joins the board, I believe it was Ford, but it was one of the large automobile manufacturers, I believe it was Ford, the first black man to serve on the corporate board in 1970, Leon Sullivan. Andrew Young then shows up and he says this, to live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. Let's fast forward to today. I think that the reason for Ferguson, Missouri is simple. It's the same reason for Baltimore. It's the same reason why South Central riots. The same reason why you got in here in parts of Detroit. Same reason why you have Christians in the South Side of Detroit. By the way, it has nothing to do with race. Throw up the only slide I have. While the slide is coming up, let me say this. Ferguson, Missouri is the legacy of Freedmen's Bank in 1865. Because 700 credit score communities don't riot.
Okay, now I need
I'm dropping the mic all day. Take the mic off. It's just falling flat.
I need a program.
You with me? Yeah. You've never had a middle class riot in America's history. By the way, anytime you disagree with something I have to say, please just raise your hand and stop. None of this is rocket science. It's all common sense. There has never been a middle class riot of any race in all of America's history. There's never been the equivalent of a 700 credit score neighborhood riot because middle class folks don't riot, they want to go shopping. They want to spend time with their families. Every time there's been a riot, it's been a, listen now, a 500 credit score neighborhood. Every time, white, rural, black and brown, urban, and Indian reservation outside of a military base, here's what you see. A check cash, next to a payday loan limit, next to a rent-to-own store, next to a title limit, next to a liquor store. And they're all feeding the $1 trillion industry, financial services in these neighborhoods. There are more check cashers in America than there are Starbucks. There are more payday lenders in the state of Alabama than the entire nation combined.
Okay.
Client comes into Operation Hope. Hardworking young man, has 2 children, raising his family, trying to do good. He's missing a paycheck. This is relevant to Detroit, where the average income is $24,000 to $26,000 per family.
This is
very relevant. The guy comes in working hard.
John Hope Bryant.
Lazy guy, working hard, but he missed a paycheck because he was trying to take care of his kid who got sick.
Doesn't say anything about it.
And unfortunately, he went to a payday, and he was going to pay it back in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, he got a little quick, so he said he went for 2 rollovers.
Just says he's CEO.
It wasn't an epidemic. He said, let me just extend this 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, I'll pay it back completely. In 6 weeks, it was $1,300.
Good old internet.
Interest rate was 651%.
We run to the restroom before we
You
get
will
started.
never pay that. My middle name is Hope, okay? You will never pay that back. They don't want you to pay it back. It's negative predictive behavioral economics. It's a way to kill the city's energy. Let's now talk about what real poverty is. Let's talk about what real wealth is and what you need in the
Good, man. How are you?
See you.
Yes. Good to see you. And it's good to be seen. And not you.
About poverty, as relates to money, is a lie. The government must use poverty as an economic metric in order to measure it so they can target it, so they can put federal mandates and policy around it. But to suggest that people are statistics is to suggest that your child is not important. This is real poverty. Half of poverty is low self-esteem and lack of confidence in yourself. Imagine doing your job without confidence. Imagine getting on the freeway and coming here without confidence. Walking in, picking up the phone to your office without confidence. Imagine doing anything in your day without confidence. You are dead on arrival. Imagine running a business without confidence. Yes or no? Half of all wealth and poverty in America, in the world, is confidence and low self-esteem. We don't have time for this conversation. If you want to understand black poverty, which is the same but different from all other forms of poverty, understand 250 years of slavery, followed by 100 years of Jim Crow, ended in 1970, not 1870, 1970, meaning in your and my lifetime, which means you were told for 300 years you don't matter. Which means your self-esteem is in the toilet, which means that 70% of black Americans are probably clinically undiagnosed depressed. We don't have time for this conversation. I'm just trying to give you the Reader's Digest version. Low self-esteem, low confidence, and that, by the way, you can be brilliant, you can be amazing, but that factor of self-esteem will deviate and determine every function of your life. Then you got role models. Why am I a businessman? My daddy was. Why do I wear a suit? My daddy grew me to. Why do I love myself? My mother told me she loved me every day of my life. I'm not a rocket scientist. I am
John O'Brien.
So if all you see in the neighborhood is growing up as symbols of success are rap stars, athletes, and marketers. Everybody's aspirational now. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, ooh, let me be stupid. Ooh, I can't wait to be a prostitute. Oh, let me grow up to be a drug dealer. If all you see in your neighborhood is symbols of success are rap stars, athletes, and drug dealers, then why is anybody surprised that kids grow up wanting to be a rap star, an athlete, or a drug dealer? And here's the brilliant part. The book, The Tipping Point, Dr. Gladwell proved that in 5% role models every community, state, University of Illinois study. Check it out for yourself. Not 80% role models, not 50% role models, not 20, just 5. So why am I a businessman? Because my daddy told me to. Because a banker came to my class when I was 9 years old and taught a course in financial literacy. He had to be Caucasian. As far as I was concerned, he wasn't white, he was green. I was 9 years old, and the banker teaches financial literacy, and I said to him, sir, what do you do for a living? How do you get rich legally? He said, I'm a banker and I finance entrepreneurs. As God is my witness, I said, I don't know what an entrepreneur is, but if you're going to finance it, I'm going to be one. The next year I started my own business. It was a neighborhood candy house. Again, we don't have time for the detailed story, but the liquor store was in the candy business. I thought he was selling the wrong kind of candy. I had high confidence now. I had a vision for myself. I went to go work for him because he wouldn't listen to me and he couldn't shut me up. Because you can't either. And I worked there for 3 weeks as a box boy, intentionally working in the back so I could see where inventories were coming from, where wholesale and retail was, where the profit margin was, what was selling, what wasn't. I quit in 3 weeks, R&D. Went home, brought $40 from my mother, and she wouldn't give it to me because she said life is tough and pay things back. $40 from my mother went to Irish food store and Smart Final. By the way, I saw this part of a company today that owns Smart Final, which is really ironic. And we got $40 worth of inventory, came home. The short version is I made $300. Put the liquor store on the candy business. I was 10 years old. Then I found girls who lost the business, a whole other story. But that changed my life. That little story created this guy standing here who's directed $2.5 billion in capital in underserved neighborhoods, who has 2 million clients, 26,000 volunteers, 300 employees, and is creating a model, hopefully, that will transform these neighborhoods. But that started when I was 9 and 10. Role model. Watch how you live your life and they have the Bible anybody else reads. Environment. Again, we don't have time for this, but let me take it quick. If Environment basically means you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th. That was really good. I'm not just giving you like clap lines and laugh lines. I mean, he like it when he's still thinking, applause on the side. Aspiration is a code word for hope. The most dangerous person in the world is a person with no hope. Now I'm getting down to the Chicago solution, and the Detroit solution, and the LA solution, and the Atlanta solution. But again, Detroit is the most important city aspirationally in the country right now. You gotta get it right here. And you can. Opportunity. So let me break this down. You have low self-esteem and low confidence. Crappy role models in a crappy environment. Which means your hope is in the toilet. You don't see opportunity anywhere. You see the glasses half empty, not half full. You never leave your block. You never leave your house. You're depressed. You don't give up. You see everything is negative. You see the world against you, and you're a victim. Did you get that? You flip it. Now, this is your and my experience now. This has nothing to do with race. Everybody in here has this experience. You have somewhere got high self-esteem and high confidence. You may not have high self-esteem, but you got high confidence and you can fake self-esteem. And you got good role models and a good environment, which then leads to a level of aspiration and hope. You feel that you can do things, which means you see opportunity everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, you're across the street from Canada, for God's sakes. The question is not whether Detroit's coming back, but from whom, when, and where. Of course it's coming back, and they aren't growing any more land. So this Detroit thing, $1,000 for a house, is a boondoggle. I mean, it's unbelievable. Which is why you got really a tale of 2 cities going on here. You got this sort of redevelopment piece going on downtown, and sort of this young, a mainstream energy coming in and making investments, and then you got this sort of other world that, by the way, you can't live without and you can't live with. So here is the drop the mic moment, and I'm done. This is really about energy. America has a history of freedom. And right now, we have more small business deaths, this is U.S. Census numbers, than small business births. Now, you may not think that's important. That's the whole ballgame. Because every big business was once a small one. I'm going to give you a little window to my next book. But here's how I'll give you a book. All wealth in the world, all wealth, with the exception of wealth that comes from crime, government contracting, and war. All wealth, other than that, comes from corporate. All wealth, because Walmart was Sam Walton with a pickup truck and a storefront. UPS was Jim Case with $100 to bicycle. Go back to the auto manufacturers 2 generations before, and some immigrant coming over from wherever, to Italy or Poland, someplace, looking for a place and an opportunity better. Goldman Sachs with a guy named Goldman and a guy named Sachs. I'm not kidding, with a briefcase going door to door. Bank of America was Bank of Italy, which was making $200 loans in San Francisco, was a little Italian merchant who literally banked on a bar top. That's where banking comes from. Banking on a bar top. Capital comes from the Latin word capitas, meaning knowledge in the head. It has nothing to do with that. I'm going quick, I'm just trying to cover a lot of ground. You need energy. You need block by block, city block by city block, energy in Detroit. You need kids trying to start a business. I don't care if they do start a business. You need them to try to start a business because it creates an immunity to failure. And success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. And you cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. We're doing these Hope Business in the Box Academies in inner city schools. You're going to hear about this Hope Business Q&A. And we do a course in financial literacy, like money, course in dignity, which is sort of wealth, course in entrepreneurship, 25 business you can start, $5 or less, first course in entrepreneurship, pitch event, auditorium twice a year. Key is 2 minutes to pitch your ideas from judges, and celebrities. Go, pitch your idea, and when we fund them with $500. Think Shark Tank for kids. Do you know what does for kids' self-esteem? To have their ideas featured on a stage like that. Quincy Jones says it takes 20 years to change a culture. In the last 20 years in this nation, we've made dumb sexy. We've dumbed down and settled. And now we got to make smart sex ideas. We're going to go into schools and do internships, not for the A+ kids, because those kids will be fine. I'm obsessed with kids with D, C's, and F's. By the way, Dr. Martin King Jr. got a C- in public speaking proficiency. I got a C- in math. It wasn't I wasn't interested in education, it wasn't speaking. Education and aspiration were not connected. Nobody wants a mortgage. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, oh, give me a subprime 20% interest mortgage. They want to become a homeowner. Nobody wants a car loan, they want a cool car. Kids don't want electrified education, they want to commute life with an education. So if you had 5% of people in here decide to bring an intern in your office, if a kid claims to get a B- in any year of high school, they got a D, C, or an F, they claim to get a B-. By the way, that is Steve Jobs. That guy or girl, D, C, or F, that is the Steve Jobs model. That kid gets a B-. You give them a $500 stipend. $500 stipend pays for business suit, business card, transportation, and food money for 6 weeks. It's a hand up, not a handout. In 6 weeks, this will happen. The kid will change the business, and the business will change the kid. And now the kid has a vision to see somebody in the creative process. He knows somebody who's a businessman. He knows somebody who has a salary. He knows somebody who goes to work every day and who aspires and has high. He knows somebody who looks like that. And when you do that block by block, 5% at least or better, you will literally transform Detroit within 5 years because it's all about energy. All this is energy. And I'll end where I started with a spiritual statement. We're not human beings having a spiritual statement. We are spiritual beings. We have a human statement. And 99.9% of all DNA is precisely the same. Which means that race is stupid. Arguing about race is stupid. You were white. Your descendants were raised in a cold environment in Europe, and that's how you pigtails need absorbs cold weather. And you have friends in the Nordic countries who got a narrow nose because it makes sure that your ear goes long hair because if your ear gets cold, your toes. Black people are dark because Africa is hot. We got a wide nose because the cool air goes your lungs. I don't know why they have big lips. I want you to reimagine. I want you to see yourself as tied today, as interconnected. I want you to understand that credit score is more than about credit score. Credit score is about real. Because when you raise your credit score, you raise your self-esteem, you raise your sense of motivation, and you drive better design your neighborhood, you drive better. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Financial Management Counselor for Oceanside, Detroit, Crystal Nixon, and to moderate the discussion, columnist for the Detroit Free Press, Michelle Riley.
How's everyone?
How's everybody?
Better. Thank you so much. I wanted to dive right in. I am thrilled to be here. I think this is a fantastic idea. Thank you for what you're doing. And I'm going to start with you and start with another woman. She named her home. And I want to know how you got the role that you played when you started. Having a huge idea to start a small return for something like this.
Well, I mean, I don't know my mom, but anybody better know she has self-esteem. And she also has always insecurities, right? That's good. And I think because we love her to tell her she loved her, my mother loved her, she told me that she loved her. And that's the great thing about her story is that when she loved her, that brain and life and so often good things come out of challenging situations. And I am concerned about neighborhoods because I came from these neighborhoods. And it might have been where I came from, it's not who I am.
Hey, Dennis, where you at, man?
All of that, I mean, I think that really look at people who are fermenting what we call an anger party in this country.
It's right there.
It comes from lack of hope, it comes from fear, it comes from insecurity. It comes from a lack of vision. Bible says where there is no vision, people perish. And I think today they've lost their vision, they've lost their hope, they've lost their way in many ways. They don't believe in some of their leaders. They're not seeing the results. They're hearing the rhetoric. I think today we got to connect the PhD with the PhD. And so when I give this speech, if I don't follow this up, again, the new form of hope, my mother, I think inspired in me. If I don't follow it up by saying, we're going to open 1,000 Hope Inside locations by 2020, which is my commitment. Hope Inside of bank branches, credit unions, grocery stores, big box retailers, houses, faith, government offices, nonprofits, academic institutions, to raise credit scores, to inspire entrepreneurs, homeowners. God made the suit that I'm wearing, literally, we put in business as an example, $35,000 loan, raise credit score, raising self-esteem. He's out with $1 million to a year, 6 employees, raising the children, paying his taxes, starting from that problem. Imagine you had 1,000 Ryan, that Brian Taylor, this guy's name, Brian Taylor, in Detroit. You don't need $1 million, you don't need 20,000. Imagine you had 1,000. So we're going to open 1,000 inside. We already have orders for 268 in the last 24 months, open in 1 week. So what you see Crystal doing here is not a microcosm, that it's not some little boutique experience. I just got 4 orders last week. People, capitalists, are seeing GDP being raised, and banks are seeing getting out of the no business and back into the yes business without you qualified to borrow.
Now, how many of those are going to open?
I won't open 100 by 2020.
I want each of you to answer in a simple sentence. What do you see when you see Detroit?
Untapped, unleveraged, out. Let me say something the mayor can't. A drug dealer is moral, he or she is unethical. There's a special place in hell reserved for somebody who sells death. Make sure that is on tape. That said, a successful drug dealer in oxymoron, a successful drug dealer is not dumb. They understand import, export, demands, market, wholesale, retail, customer service, security, territory, and logistics. You're not talking about a dumb kid. We're talking about a misdirected kid with crappy role model, crappy, all that stuff that I mentioned on the graph. And so, imagine if Steve Jobs wasn't adopted in Silicon Valley, he was adopted in the south side of Detroit, or the south side of Chicago. I'm not picking on the kids. It doesn't matter. If it didn't have, if you didn't have the right circle, the world would be different. There's a Steve Jobs on every block in Detroit. And that is not a fallacy or fantasy. That is literally true. So I see untapped, unleveraged, unaccessed potential. And I see in this audience a chance for you to have legacy. Like, there's nobody in this audience that runs themselves that doesn't want to have a personal legacy. That's true. You want to know you're doing more than just getting up in the morning and paying your bills and doing your thing. You want to know that you and the world know you were here. Here's the opportunity, right? To do your business in the way you do business and still do well and do good and to leave a legacy in the world that's better because you were here. She also sees, she told me back today, she says she sees an average of 5 credit score. Is that right?
We do have a lower credit score rate than most cities in our state. But it is hopeful. It's hopeful. I work with these people every day. I work with people in the city. I work with people who have 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs. People come from the UAW, the AFL-CIO, teachers, everyone. People, just like you and I, go to work every day and need help to raise those credit scores.
So you've had a 5 credit score. What's one example? She's a snapshot of the credit score you got to build up in 8 to 10 months.
Great question.
Okay, so I had one client who went from around 550 to 560 to 642 deposits. Well, I with people in the 2SA door, right? Okay, Wisconsin. And so what I do is I study consumer law all the time. When people don't pay their bills, their credit scores go down. It's not because we don't overwork. Like the chairman said, we don't wake up every morning and say, I just don't want to pay bills. I don't want to do anything. I don't like my house here. I don't have my lawn. We really have good intention, but if we don't have the money to pay those bills, then that's it. So the company you lost your job or the breadwinner in your home has passed away, the last thing I want to work is I want to do is back to my study. This is the law. I try to find ways within the law to help you relieve some of your debt first. This is the first thing I do. I'm going to talk about wealth that I can show you. After that, we get to settle the dispute. Going downward.
Actually, she's a real thinker, and she's one of my best friends in the country. She's out here. But actually, she gave you a more thoughtful answer than I would. Removing credit score 30 points to 24 months, just to be clear. Like, we move 40 points immediately, 90% of the time, because there are errors. If you have a 500 credit score, you don't check your credit. The very nature of somebody with a 500 credit score is you don't check your credit. When you check your credit, you will not have a 500 credit score. So when you don't check your credit, there are errors. We dispute the error on your behalf. That immediately pops your credit 40 points. And then after that, as Chris was saying, there's going to be something that's speaking for 10 years and get divorced or something, and you owe a phone company $1,000, $2,000. There's a little number at the bottom of it, which is Joe's Finance Company who bought your debt. They bought it for 50 cents on the dollar. We called Joe's Finance Company when he wanted to pay off his debt. Now, we'll pay you $2. I asked for it, we'll pay you $2.
Tim, how much time?
I want you to write a letter.
Can I get a couple of interviews in?
To all the credit bureaus, confirming.
Because we're kind of holy.
That posture, now you got a 7.5.
5 minutes.
7.5.
Yeah. Okay.
6 months.
Just swing them in.
Their well-being, and also give shelter to them, which, it just changes the
All right.
My baby, my baby.
So how about we had, I guess it would have been 2 weeks now, we had a Super Bowl reunion.
Nobody told me.
I wasn't in charge of it.
Nobody told me.
I found out about it the day of on
That's
Facebook.
sad.
They sent me a message on Facebook.
Tell me.
Yeah,
Who set it up?
Susan Shearer. Remember Susan?
Really?
Because Susan, I don't know if
My
you know.
neighbor.
You know Susan and them own Atava Villa.
Yeah, on Michigan Ave.
So she did it at Atava Villa.
Okay.
Yeah, her and Michelle Lewis Watts.
Oh, man.
And I was just like, it's been 10 years. You met me when I was 21.
When you were in,
I was in college.
hand me that paper towel. Thank you. Yeah, you were at Easter.
Yep.
You were interning. You were on special assignment for Tell Us Detroit. You were writing.
I know. I remember about emerging business.
You were what do you call it? A former contributor to Tell Us Detroit. Yeah. How we doing, Dennis? Okay. I think we're rolling live already. Oh.
No problem.
Yeah, let me show you. I gotta show this to Dennis.
Okay. Ooh.
You're good. I can turn them around. No. Don't turn.
Like, that was great, that was sweet. It's to me, it's like, I would say this, Stevie Wonder's my friend. Stevie Wonder can sing this. I mean, he's my friend. He'd laugh at that. But the point is, like, you want to be on the freeway where you got a 3,000-pound vehicle or missile that you don't have a driver's license. Nobody has a driver. No one got private sector.
Okay.
You have an economy, and no one's being taught how to run the economy. We don't have home economics anymore. Nobody's being taught how to run a classroom, how to raise kids. I mean, everybody's just winging it. Oh, hell,
You look beautiful.
Thank you. I
look at
appreciate
you.
it.
if you want to get a kid up, put a kid to sleep. Give them a traditional French and give them sleep.
Okay, we're here today at the 2016 Detroit Policy Conference, and at the table with me is a very special person. This is Tatiana Grant. Hi, Tatiana. How
Hello,
are you?
good morning.
Yeah. Now, Tatiana, if you didn't know, and many of you didn't, has been a contributing writer for Tell Us Detroit in the past. And tell us a little bit about what you did with us.
So at the time, I was an intern working at the Super Bowl host committee when Super Bowl was in Detroit, and we had a governmental and external affairs program, and Tell Us Detroit was a huge media partner for Super Bowl. And so essentially, I would cover some of our events and programs and things of that sort, and write articles, and they would be published by Tell Us Detroit. They were a big part of my portfolio when I was in college looking for jobs.
Great. Now, let's go fast forward.
Fast forward,
and
yes.
talk about what you're doing today.
What I'm doing today is I am pitching in the Pitch Detroit competition, which is part of this policy conference today. And there's 4 entrepreneurs, and we are all pitching our business idea to the panel of 4 judges. And the winner will receive $2,000 as well as an all-expense-paid trip to the Mackinac Policy Conference. And once at the policy conference, there will be a Detroit company and then a west side of the state company that will compete for a grand prize, which they haven't disclosed yet.
All right, now, what is your product or what is your service?
Sure.
Tell us about it.
So Flash Delivery is a restaurant and grocery delivery service. So basically we work with 20 restaurants and 2 grocery stores in the greater downtown Detroit area. So if you call those places, which range from Buffalo Wild Wings to Detroit Seafood Market to many, many more, and say that you want food delivered, they're going to tell you to contact Flash Delivery. So what you do is you go to our website, or you call us, or you go to our app, and you'll see the full menu as well as all the grocery offerings. And you place your order, and our drivers essentially pick up the food and deliver it to you. This is our flyer. This shows some of the restaurants that we work with and how to download the app, as well as our website, which is www.flashdeliverymichigan.com.
Now, how is this working for you?
It's doing really, really good. Like I was just talking to my business partner, and there were days when we first started where we wouldn't have any orders, or we would have 1 or 2 orders. Now we get a ton. When we go through our presentation, we've been cash flow positive since last year. We currently have 5 drivers. We're in the process of hiring 2 more, and then we're finalizing a deal with a national grocery partner. And when that happens, we'll be doubling the amount of drivers that we have.
Now tell us, when did you get started with this entrepreneurship?
For this company?
This project.
This project started about 3 years ago now. It was a cold November night, and I wanted food delivered. Well, I didn't want food delivered. I was hungry, and I kept calling the restaurant. And at that point, because I was going to get carry out, they wouldn't answer the phone. So I'm just sitting there frustrated, hungry. And I thought to myself, I wish somebody would deliver some tacos. And I went online, and there was nobody who delivered anything other than pizza and Chinese. And then that's when the light bulb clicked out. And starting that night was when I started researching the company and what I could do and how I could start it.
Wow, and here you are now.
And here we are.
And it's been a constant growth for the last 3 years?
Yes, absolutely. We've experienced, on average, 20% growth every month.
That's really big time.
It is. It
Now,
really is.
what is your target area right now here in the Southeast Michigan?
Yes. Right now, we're in the greater downtown area. So that is New Center, Downtown, Midtown, Corktown, Riverfront, and Indian Village.
Wow,
So it's it's about 5 zip codes. And then next we'll be expanding to Grosse Pointe and Canton. Yeah.
So you're getting over into my neighborhood.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes, exactly.
I can't get anybody to deliver over there, but now. This is great. This
Yeah,
is great.
that's around the corner.
Moving forward, you mentioned that you were collaborating with a national organization.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So the national partner is a pretty large grocer department store kind of place that we have here in Michigan. And basically, they currently have a product offering where you can go online and place your order and pick it up. And so basically, what we are in negotiations on is us being the final step. So right now, you can go on their website, you can place an order, you can pick it up at their store. But the last leg is to have somebody deliver it to your house. And so basically, we're working out the logistics, the pricing, the supply chain. How do we make it all fit and get it from here to there? And it's looking pretty good that we'll have it done within the next 30 days, and we'll be piloting it. The numbers that they're giving us are quite scary. We would increase our grocery order size just with the pilot by 170%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the reason why we'll soon be doing a call out for new drivers and increasing our staff.
Well, great. This sounds very good. This sounds super. And I must congratulate you,
Thank
especially
you.
from where I
You've seen me.
you start.
You've seen me grow. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you
you.
so much, and best of luck to you today.
Yes,
in
thank you.
your endeavor. Now, tell us just a little bit more about your contest.
Yeah, so basically we compete today at noon, and it's us and 3 other contestants, and then they announce the winner. I believe it's right at the end of the conference at like 3:30 is when they'll let us know who the winner is.
Well, thank you so much,
Yes,
and
thank you.
congratulations.
Yes.
And you know
Thank
I'm
you.
on your team. I have a
Yes.
vested interest. I love it.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. All that you do.
Okay, enjoy the show.
Yes, thank you.
Now he's got others contract with him a lot.
I got rid of it. I have to put it down on another level so it doesn't overlap. We're talking technical.
I know you know your stuff.
Huh?
So I know you know all your stuff, even when you can't see it.
Well, people call me techie. I don't care.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. Ready? Ready? Hey, look at that smile. Such
Yes,
a
I'm
beautiful
ready.
smile.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Kimberly Wardell, and Kimberly is with the Garden of Therapy. And how you doing, Kimberly?
I'm pretty good. How are you today?
Good, good,
That's
good.
good.
Will you tell us a little bit about your program, about your business?
Yes. Well, the name of my business is Garden of Therapy, and we are a massage and event concierge business. And we have 2 points. You can either come to us, and we're located in Birmingham, Michigan, and we provide therapeutic relaxation, and we also do cupping massage to different clients. And we also go to events where we do spa parties, weddings, basketball games, concerts. We do corporate events. We go to corporate companies and we do chair massages there. And we promote relaxation, health, wellness, and we like clients to be stress-free.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yes.
So what do you do? I mean,
So
if I came to you, what would you do for me?
What I would do is first I would find out what you want. So whenever you book an appointment with me, your 60 minutes or your 90 minutes are yours. So I want to make sure that the work that I'm doing for you is what helps you to get your goal. So if you're looking for pain relief, then I'll ask about the areas that are giving you the pain, and then we will try to work those muscles out. If you're looking for relaxation, then we'll make sure that we provide you an experience that relaxes you. If you wanted to do an event and you wanted something a little more upbeat, we can accommodate that too. So we basically want our clients to feel good. We cater to our clients, and we like to give them a great experience. We like clients to feel healthy. The world can be stressful, and
Indeed.
yes, and I also believe that touch is important, and it's one of the things that has been neglected a lot. We don't promote touch like we should, and we don't understand how important the human touch is, and a lot of people don't understand how important massage is until after they get it, because people think that massage is a one-time thing. Oh, it's my birthday, I treat myself to a massage, when really I tell my clients to treat it like exercise. If you work out once a year, that's great, but you won't see many results. But if you're consistent with your massages, you'll see those results. So it can be bi-weekly, it can be monthly, but consistency is key. We work at computers a lot, we're on our phones, so we have those postures, and our muscles are tight, we drive, and we don't realize that we're stiff. So that restricts the blood, and we want to get blood flow, and we want clients to relax. We want our muscles to work so our bodies can be healthy.
Super. How does one get in touch with you?
You can call me at area code 248-291-7165. You can email me at info@gardenofTherapy.com. We are on Facebook at Garden of Therapy. We are on Instagram at Garden of Therapy. So we have 4 ways to get in touch with me, and we reply to our clients within 24 hours if we don't answer them immediately. So, yes.
Kimberly Wardell,
Yes.
thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you
and
for
sharing your
having
business
me.
with
I
us.
appreciate it.
Okay,
Okay.
not a problem. Hold on one second. Douglas Diggs, who is President and Chief Executive Officer of Diggs Group Heritage LLC here in Detroit, and one of the key groups, one of the key developers that are spearheading that massive project downtown Detroit, which is called District Detroit. And how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you so
Great
much,
to
Brother
have you
Meeks.
here.
Great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you in the last year or so.
So the last year or so, we've been keeping a little busy, thankfully. Certainly is we see the city coming back. A major part of that has been District Detroit, led by the new event center, all being developed by the Ilitch family and Olympia Development of Michigan. We're part of the Olympia Development team, making sure that we meet the ownership's goal, the Ilitch family's goal, that this arena and this district be Michigan-made, Detroit-built, ensuring Detroit residents and Detroit businesses participate in the project.
Okay. Now, there was a little rocky start at the beginning. There were people that were resisting, pushing back on this project because they didn't think that there was enough inclusiveness. Can you share with us what has been done to correct that?
So, this is a commitment, and I always say it's a commitment before anybody started talking about that the Ilitch family made, that Detroit residents and businesses would participate. So we started an aggressive outreach schedule, and as part of that have registered over 13,000 Detroit residents with Detroit Employment Solutions, giving them access to the pipeline to get in the proper training. We've been working with the skilled trades. We're seeing an uptick in the electrical unions, the carpenters, iron workers. We're seeing it across the board because of the aggressive activity we're having, or that's been done by Heritage. We're seeing it come back in the workforce. And most, importantly, what we're seeing is of all the contracts that have been awarded, over 65% of those have gone to Detroit businesses.
Very good, very good. So there is an uptick to this.
We're absolutely seeing an uptick, and we're seeing opportunities for Detroiters. I mean, we do the big workshops, but we're also doing the one-on-one. Hey, I think you've been at some of the outreach events where we've said, hey, everybody, that's a Detroit business, stand up. And if you're sitting down and you want to do business on this project, you better find one of those people who's standing up.
Now, I need to ask this, and that is, what is a BIT project or a BIT seminar? What is that?
So typically, when we do a bidding package or in preparation for a bidding package, we go out to contractors, both first Detroit-based, tell them to get ready. It's coming down, the bids are coming down the pipeline, and then we bring in the general contracting community, both Detroit and non-Detroit firms, and go through what the opportunity is, what's the size, what's the timing, all the things that impact your ability to bid on a project, what you need to be prepared, your certifications, releases from the city, that kind of thing, and make people aware of what's coming down in preparation for the bid. So folks have an opportunity to sit down, and we hear it all the time, as we move from the arena to some of the other projects that have now been announced, there are going to be opportunities for smaller businesses. So in the beginning, we had guys who said, there's no way I can bid on the arena. That will just choke me. But now, as we're starting to bring things like the parking structures and Little Caesars headquarters, which all these things are becoming online, it gives opportunity for some of the smaller guys to start bidding on the work.
How does one find out about these bid projects or these bid events?
So the best source of information is districtdetroit.com. You go on there when we're about to release a bid. The events are listed on that site, and that's also the place to register that you're interested in doing business in the District Detroit. And we're now kind of transitioning from just the construction to actual ongoing operations and businesses that, clothing stores, restaurants, and the like that want to do business in the district need to start registering at districtdetroit.com.
Very good. Now, lastly, I just want to know tell us about the Little Caesars project. We always hear about the arena, but you mentioned Little Caesars. What is that about? What's going on there?
So the Little Caesars headquarters has been announced. It's one of the projects that will be happening, and I can't say a whole lot. What I can say, it'll be like everything else the Ilitch family does. It'll be fantastic. It'll be first class. It'll be something that Detroit will be very proud of.
Well, I do appreciate you coming on. We all do appreciate you coming on and sharing a little insight on District Detroit and what Diggs Group Heritage LLC is doing.
Thank you.
And we congratulate you on your endeavors and look for greater things in the future from you.
Well, thank you. And it's always so fantastic being with you. You've been such a good partner in making sure the message gets out to the Detroit residents, Detroit businesses. So thank you so much for all the work you do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty.
Am I talking to you or looking at the screen? What do you want? Okay.
All right, you can, if you have something that you want to punch, check out the screen.
All right.
All right, other than that, it's you and me, okay? We're here with John Hope Bryant, and he is an American financial, literacy entrepreneur, okay, and a businessman. Now, he's founded, the Operation Hope?
I founded a lot of things, but I'm an entrepreneur, so that's all I do is create things. But Operation Hope is what people most know me for. Bryant Group Ventures, Operation Hope, Global Dignity,
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Operation Hope is the nation's first and now largest nonprofit financial services network for the underserved. So we're opening about an office a week. We are going to become the Starbucks of financial inclusion. We're raising credit scores to 700 in communities that we're engaged in because we believe nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points. We have 2 million clients. We've directed $2.5 billion in underserved neighborhoods, that's billion with a B. We have 26,000 volunteers. We're in 400 plus communities. And we have a youth so the portfolio is called Project 5117. So your viewers can just Google search or Chrome search Project 5117. That means 5 million kids to make smart cool so kids want to stay in school by 2020. 1 million kids to go through Hope Business in the Box academies to become entrepreneurs, and high school and middle school to go through Hope B- Business Compact schools to become an intern in high school and middle school. And then at least 1,000 Hope Inside locations, which is what I talked about on stage, Hope Inside of bank branches and grocery stores, and raise credit scores to 700. So that's the 7. Project 5117, 5117. And that is a numerical formula for success in our communities. We do this, we'll have somewhere between 1,000 and 3,000 locations by 2020. Minimum will be 1,000. That's a scalable, sustainable model for transformational change. for neighborhoods that you and I grew up in and are concerned about. And that doesn't exist. It has never existed in our neighborhoods. There's a model for everything negative in our neighborhoods. It's not a model for anything positive in our neighborhoods, not for uplift.
Where's your central concentration right now? What neighborhoods, what cities, what parts of the country?
Well, I mean, we're opening an office a week, so I mean, it's almost to tell you almost like where we're not. I mean, we're in all the, we're in most of the major cities. We're opening up in Memphis, opening up in Nashville, opening up here in Detroit. We have offices in Detroit. Opening up in, we have, a dozen offices in New York, a dozen offices in Los Angeles. We have offices going into Texas and into Omaha, Nebraska. We're opening offices in rural America. We just got a commitment to open up in Mississippi and in Arkansas. So it's almost easier to tell you when we're not than to tell you where we are. You can go to operationhope.org for a map that will tell you all our locations.
OperationHope.org.
Yeah, it's my nonprofit.
Now, kind of walk me through this for the youth, for the young folks. What will they expect once they register and get on board? What is the process that they go through?
Well, most kids are going to go through this through their school. So it'll be baked into their curriculum, and they will go through a course in financial literacy. That's step number one. We make financial literacy fun and interesting, not boring. Those that put kids to sleep. We engage volunteers in the process so that the kids are really, they're listening to what you're saying, but they're really looking at you going, dang, I want to be you, right? How do I do that? How did you get that suit, man? How did you get that car? How did you become successful? So the kids are getting an unarticulated message about role modeling and mentoring as they're getting the lesson in financial literacy. Then we connect financial literacy, banking on our future, that's the baseline, with either get a job or create a job programming. Hope Business in a Box Academies or create a job. That's entrepreneurship. So a course in entrepreneurship, a course in dignity, values, because you can't pray in school anymore. 25 businesses you can start with $500 or less are options. You pick one. Then we do a pitch event in your school auditorium twice a year. Think Shark Tank for kids. Local judges like you and me, no celebrities, so relatable role models. The kid gets a chance to pitch their business idea. 2 minutes. They go on, pitch, timer in front. If they do a good job of pitching, we fund the business up to $500. And then Gallup measures the impact of that intervention strategy. We assign a role model to the kid and works with them to stand up their business. And I don't really care at the end of the day whether that kid becomes an entrepreneur or not. I want them to have an entrepreneurial mindset. I want them to know when they get up in the morning, I'm going to get around it, over it, through it, I'm going to get to it. I have a can-do attitude. I'm about what I'm for, not what I'm against. I'm an optimist. I believe in myself. I'm resilient. I'm immune to failure. These are all things, as you know, that a self-starter has to have. I want to build a nation of doers. And then the second track is an internship track, because most people don't want to be a business owner. They want to work for somebody else, which is understandable. So those are two things very practical that we do, all of it coming from the ether of financial literacy, which is really the language of money. You want to be bilingual. Teach English, maybe Spanish too, but teach the language of money.
It's the language of money. So are you tracking these students from high school through college or a trade school?
So we have an office of a Hope Office of Innovation, Research, and Assessment that measures the impact of the work we do. And once again, people can go on our website to get a download of our reports at operationhope.org.
Okay. Now, what's the name of your website again?
operationhope.org. operationhope.org.
This is very important. This is good stuff. This is great stuff.
Thank you.
And I thank you for spending a little time with us today.
That was important.
And sharing with us this vision that you have that's everywhere. I mean, this is big time. This is really big time. And you're nationwide.
We're global. We're actually in South Africa, we're in Morocco, we're in Saudi Arabia, we're in the United Arab Emirates. We have one of my nonprofits is in 74 countries. But this is, look, if America doesn't succeed, the world can't succeed. America needs the world to succeed. And America needs Detroit to be successful again, because Detroit is not only an American city, she's not only an icon, she's like the spiritual heartbeat of every struggling family who ever went from nothing to something, to middle class to successful. So Detroit is part of ether of this whole nation. And so it's important to me that we lay out what I call Detroit Uplift 2020, our agenda for the uplift of Detroit by the year 2020, which is why I'm here. You should think global, but you act local.
John Hope Bryant, thank you for bringing me up to speed on what you're doing.
Thanks for having me.
And enjoy yourself today, and the best of luck to you on all your endeavors.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, man. God bless you.
want you on my show.
Well, haul me in.
How you doing? All right. No, I mean on the radio show, Nolan. Okay.
All right, you ready? Okay. We're here with Karen Dumas, talk show host here in Detroit. In my opinion, the best talk show host here in Detroit.
Well, if it's your opinion, then that's it.
All right, there we go. And that is 910, Radio 910
910
Superstation.
AM Superstation. I'm on from 4 to 7, Monday through Friday. And you can log on at 910amsuperstation.com. We live stream audio and video. Download the free app. You can take us with you, Harold.
All right. Now tell us, Karen, tell us, what, I just had a...
That's okay.
Okay. How's this going for you?
This meeting.
How is the radio show going?
Well, it's going fine. I started out on Sundays, and after 3 weeks, they moved me to Monday through Friday. So this is just the start of my second week of going Monday through Friday. But it's going well. You know, there's so much to talk about. There's so many things that people don't know about. It's an opportunity for me to take the conversation out of the realm of the usual discussions, and I'm excited about it.
What has been some interesting topics that you discovered in the last 2 weeks?
Well, I got the chance to talk to a young man, Kyle Bartell, a young African-American gentleman. He's 20-some years old, and he's behind the Sit On It Detroit bench campaign that you see. They have books inside of their the little benches around town. Young guy, did repurpose wood. That was interesting. I have talked to John Austin, who's the president of the Michigan State Board of Education, to look at a higher level discussion of why we are in this situation with education. I did a one-on-one with Harvey Hollins from the governor's office to get an inside perspective on the Flint water crisis and the email scandal. I mean, I've talked to tons of people, so I like to keep the conversation going. I don't do dumb, I don't do drama, and I don't do divisive.
And this is why we love you. This is why we love you, because, you know, you report it, you don't create it.
No, I don't, and I don't want to feed into, you know, it's very easy when people are frustrated to fall into an emotion, and that's understandable, but you got to put the emotion aside, take the information, and then move forward in a prepared capacity. You can't do that just, you know, talking about how you feel.
Now, let's talk a little bit about why you're here today. What are you doing here?
Well, I also now write an opinion piece for The Hub magazine. And so I'm here. I want to see what's going on as we lay the groundwork at the Detroit Policy Conference for Mackinac. We've been talking about regional transportation for, quite a while now. So we want to see where that's moving forward. Certainly the situation in Flint and education are, you know, integral topics that we need to talk about, and, you know, to reconnect with some people. So it's always good.
Now I want to touch just a little bit on Flint, because that's a timely topic. And I was there last week when the Health and Human Service Secretary was there. I paid visit to a church, and some of the members of the church were kind of concerned about everyone was not being served with the water in Flint. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but I haven't been able to get a straight answer.
Well, I'm going to get a straight answer this afternoon, because I actually have a phone call scheduled with a pastor from Flint who says that they've got enough water, but there are other needs in terms of that have been created as a result of the water crisis aren't being met. But again, Harold, it goes to the degree of emotion. Everybody's following suit. We're turning in water. We're doing this. But what's the plan? What's the strategy? We're talking about the Mayor Weaver wants to replace the infrastructure pipes.
Right.
But if the pipes in the homes are still damaged, have we really solved the problem? So, you know, we got to peel away from the emotion and see what's going on.
I asked them about...
No, you listen to the show, Harold, and you call
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that.
Okay.
You gotta call
I gotta call him.
Yes,
I
you
just
do.
want you to think about this. And that is, people are saying that the official water distribution areas, the fire stations, where the National Guard, state police, and local police are doing the distribution, there are people who are afraid to approach those areas.
There are non-English speaking residents in Flint,
Right.
and they may have some, residency concerns. There are also seniors and people that are confined to their homes, and their needs are not being met. So I'm saying dropping off water looks good and sounds good, but you got to make sure you're penetrating,
Right.
to make sure you receive that. So
Right.
don't move.
Now, I'd like to ask you about the city moving forward. What your thoughts are, and kind of fold last night's State of the City speech.
Well, having worked in 2 mayoral administrations, lifelong Detroiter, I think the biggest change right now is the perception and the attitude toward the city, which certainly has value. I mean, we have a mayor that is aggressive. He has a reputation as being a doer, but he's also a politician. So I think he has effectively blended those 2 things, and it's working for him.
Okay. And what do you think about the city as a whole?
Well, I think we got a lot of work to do. I mean, I do think that, again, the perception changing is quite valuable. Because people at one time didn't want to talk about it, all down, So getting people interested and excited about the city is the first step. Now we need the reality to match the perception.
Okay. Karen Dumas.
Thank you, Harold.
Thank you
thank
coming
you.
for coming to visit with us here at Tell Us Detroit.
Always.
And once again, give us the time that you're
Monday
on,
through Friday, 9,
where
10
you can be
a.m.
found.
from 4 to 7 p.m. The show is called The Pulse. We want to take your pulse and give you one. Make sure you're staying awake and alive. And you can log on 910amsuperstation.com. You can download the app, take us with you. If you don't like my show, we got plenty of other ones on there. We got a voice and a view for everybody.
All right.
All right. Thank you,
so
Harold.
much.
Thanks.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, all right. We're here with Marlo Stoudemire. And can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
So my name is Marlo Stoudemire. I'm a native Detroiter, Cass Tech graduate, and I am the project director on the Detroit 1967. Is this live?
1967
project for the Detroit Historical Society.
Okay, now hold it. What is the 1967 project for the Detroit Historical Society? What is that?
So actually, Detroit 67, which is, I'm correcting myself, is the 50th anniversary of the Summer of Civil Unrest in the city of Detroit.
Ah, okay.
It's a community engagement project that features a multi-year level of engagement of diverse voices, projects, and exhibitions to help Detroit understand our collective past, but also identify where we are now and where we need to go in the future.
Okay, so tell us how people can get involved in this. Tell us what this project entails and how long is it going to take to complete it?
Right, so the project actually started in 2015 with the first component, which is the Oral History Project. It's going to be the most comprehensive archive of stories, reflections, and also video footage of those who were there, who came after, who may have been in positions of influence around the whole topic of 67, whether you call it a riot or a summer of civil unrest, that's to be determined by those who talk about it. So that's one component, and we've engaged the entire community to come in and share their stories. The second component is a series of programs for different generations across the city to get involved for accurate information, education, workshops, adult programs, and also a partner network of over 100 different organizations in the city of Detroit who are doing things like conversation on race, conversations on economic inclusion and diversity, all of those different things from now through the project's end, which is in 2018. Then the third component, which is the crescendo, right? The exhibit. There's an exhibition that we're doing that's going to be high tech and high touch, state of the art, where we're bringing the story to life. We're immersing people in it, simulating different things from that time period, whether it be 3D animation, touch screens, really bringing it to life so people understand what happened, taking them through that, and then offering a space at the end for people to decompress, share, give feedback, and know how to get involved, which leads us to the last component, a call to action to the community, to do something transformative and impactful to help the city move forward in contrast of everything that was destroyed 50 years ago.
Wow, now you've covered a lot of ground here, so let's try to piece this together now and try to capture each component as I can remember it.
Right.
Now, I heard you touch upon interviewing people who were actually there.
Right.
How do you go about finding these folks?
Yeah, so there's a combination of our own internal network in which we've reached out with a lot of community partners, right? We've had a relationship with the community, a call for those who to come in through our website to make phone calls. We've set up a community engagement network of different ambassadors and community leaders to lead us into these communities. We're working with the city of Detroit, we're working with scholars, we're working with organizations like New Detroit, the Michigan Roundtable for Diversity and Inclusion, to really cast a broad net, but also grassroots organizations like the Bog Center to make sure that we're touching everyone and connecting with everyone so they can get this story out. So whether it be digitally, whether it be over the phone, whether it be face-to-face interviews, we kind of cast that broad net. All four of those components, along with the process behind it, what we're really doing is we're creating a model, right, to bring a diverse group of people together across a community around the effects of a historic crisis to help people find their place in the present in order for us to inspire the future. So it's a model we're creating.
Okay, now, you've been interviewing people. Do you have an idea of how many people that you've talked to so far? Or
yes,
just an estimate?
It's been hundreds at this point, and it's going to be an ongoing archive that's going to live on beyond the project. We've interviewed people like Judge Damon Keith, Ike McKinnon, who was actually a young police officer at the time, Deputy Mayor Ike McKinnon. We've interviewed people who were just kind of like random Joes who may have had a really strong story to tell us about their perspective through their lens on what happened during those 5 days. We've even interviewed people like Stephen Henderson, who weren't born, but as a writer for the Detroit Detroit News, has perspective on what the effects were afterwards, right, as a journalist, right? And so we're trying to capture as many perspectives as possible, and it's going to be the most robust and accurate, right, set of information around the topic online.
Okay. Now, one of your memorable interviews?
You know, I would say probably Ike McKinnon. You know, he tells a story about, you know, not only what happened during that time, but giving us perspective around the climate of the Detroit Police Department at the time for an African-American police officer. Gives perspective around what his point of view was, and seeing someone and almost being shot during these exchanges by friendly fire, right? The things that he saw through the eyes of a officer, but also being a black male, kind of this dual path. I think that was one of the most memorable moments that I think, for me, that was captured. I think more than anything, it was also giving people a chance to feel like that they've purged, right? Some people feel like that they haven't been heard, right? So this program, or this project in general, does really 4 things. It gives people a chance to be heard, connect people who don't get a chance to listen, right? Give people a chance to participate in something that they can actually be involved in, but then more than anything, motivating people to act on helping to build for the future and making them feel connected to all of this positive momentum we have in Detroit. Because realistically, in the neighborhoods and in other places, they don't feel the effects of Midtown and downtown. How do we make it real for them, right? Because there's a certain level of disparity, whether you want to believe it or not, it's real, right? And so that's part of it as well, giving people a chance to create their own future that they want. So that's important.
Okay, now moving forward, you mentioned a website. What is the address?
Detroit1967.org. And so the Detroit Historical Society is the convener, but we don't own the project. Our job is to take it out of the walls of the museum and give it back to the people. And that's where people can go. However, we're going to have partners from New Detroit, the Wright Museum, the DIA, the City of Detroit, who've all come together around this, and we'll be carrying that brand, that D67 brand, to push it out to the community and say, listen, the door is open. We're gonna have community events around this. We're gonna do neighborhood placemaking projects, you know, but we won't be doing the work. We're gonna activate our partners. We're gonna activate the community and say, you own it. We'll provide the historical context. We'll provide the baseline information, open up the doors to the museum, but our job is to convene and facilitate this.
When will you know that you have done your job?
That's a good question. So I think the most important aspect is the exhibit will open early May of 2017. But more than anything, it'll be the will of the community and for us to see impact beyond just talking conversation, whether it be projects in the community that are popping up, new initiatives, new programs, right? Whether it be a new diverse audience walking through the walls of the museum who haven't normally gone through the walls of the museum. Our partner network reporting back to us the number of lives that they've touched, right? The business community saying, yes, this is something we want to get behind, and we're going to support it with dollars and help fund some of these things. It's the collective impact, and you'll see it because it'll be new initiatives, new steps, new ideas coming forth.
Okay, so this is not going to end.
That's the key. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually, it's a 150-year story, really. If you think about it, those 5 days in 67, it didn't just come out of anywhere. We're going to go back to 1917 and set the stage for how we got to 67. We're going to report the 50 years after 67 leading to 2017, but more than anything, we're going to help people find their role and how they can influence what we see in Detroit in 2067. And so that's why the move forward component is so important. It's a never-ending story, right? But a story this big takes all of us to tell it. Something this big needs all of us or it's not complete.
Marlo Stoudemire, thank you so much. I have to let you know that you brought me up to speed. You brought many of our viewers up to speed, and we are engaged in a part of this project. You can count on us.
Thank you.
All right?
Appreciate it.
Okay, you have a good day. Enjoy the rest. here today with restaurateur and entrepreneur Ron Bartell. How are you?
Good. Thank you for
Welcome
having
to
me.
Tell Us Detroit.
Appreciate it.
All right. Ron, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you do.
Well, I'm from here originally. Grew up in Northwest Detroit. Attended Renaissance High School. Graduated there. Went to college. Went on to the NFL. Played in the NFL for 9 years. I decided at the end of my career to get into entrepreneurship. And ended up opening a restaurant on the Avenue of Fashion in Detroit on Livernois Avenue. So we've been in business for a year. So it's going well so far, and hope to be in business for a long time.
Okay, now I want to step back just a little bit before we get to the restaurant, which I want to talk a lot about. But I want to know what high school you went to here in Detroit?
Detroit Renaissance.
And then college?
I went to Central Michigan and then transferred to Howard University.
Okay, and you said you played NFL football?
Yes, sir.
With who?
St. Louis Rams.
For 9 years?
And the Detroit Lions, yes.
Okay, all right. Now we've got some background. We know where you're from.
Yeah.
Tell us about your restaurant.
Well, it's a Southern style soul food / breakfast joint. We specialize in chicken and waffles. We've been open for a year. We employ approximately 50 people. It's something different, something new, something exciting. It's going well. It's going well.
What made you want to get into the restaurant business?
Well, I actually didn't want to get in the restaurant business. I was in the business of development. So I had bought these properties, and I started developing the properties. And I looked around, and I was looking for tenants. And I saw that there was a gap in the neighborhood. We had all these things in the neighborhood, but we didn't really have sit-down dining, casual dining, for families to attend or for people to go on a date or what have you. So I just thought about it and thought, maybe we could do a restaurant and bridge the gap ourselves. And turns out it worked out fine. And people are doing a great job of supporting us. We hope to continue the success.
All right, now where are you located?
On 19345 Livernois Avenue.
Okay, and do you have a website?
Yes. The website is Cuzzo'sChickenandWaffles.com.
Cuzzo'sChickenandWaffles.com.
Yes, sir.
Now, do I need a reservation? If I take my wife to the event?
No, you don't need it. We don't do reservations, actually.
Okay.
We suggest you come early.
Okay, now, what time do you open?
We open at 8 a.m. Tuesdays through Sundays.
And you stay open until?
10 p.m.
Until 10 p.m.
Yes, sir.
So, what's your bill of fare?
We specialize chicken and waffles. The average bill probably comes about $14, $15. It's pretty affordable. You get a nice size selection.
Now you say you have other properties.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
I have properties all over the city, from residential to commercial. I've been investing in Detroit for a while now, ever since I started playing football professionally. So for the past 10, 11 years, I've been buying properties.
Okay, you feel that was a good move?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're not making any more land, so to speak. So,
That's right.
So yeah, it's worked out fine. And Detroit it's in a really interesting place right now. We come out of the bankruptcy. Things are starting to pick up, so property values are starting to rise. So for me, it's worked out pretty well.
Okay. Excuse me.
No problem.
Tell us about reaching out to younger folks who may have the entrepreneurial spirit and what they should look forward to do to become successful.
I just try to lead by example. My suggestion would be everybody has an idea. Everybody has an idea they think it's the best idea in the world. But if you don't have a sound plan, a sound structure, idea is pretty worthless. So my suggestion is that you surround yourself by the right people, by people that are smarter than you, and by people that are not afraid to tell you the truth. So if you do that, that's the first step I think you can have towards success.
Okay. Now, getting back to the restaurant, if you were to suggest a particular meal on the menu, what would it be? What's your favorite?
Oh man, I mean, everything there is pretty good. So like I say, we're known, we're a chicken and waffles place, so anything with chicken and waffles, I would have to suggest.
That's your marquee.
That's our marquee.
What else other than chicken and waffles can they see on the menu?
We have breakfast. We have eggs, toast, bacon, shrimp and grits. It's pretty extensive menu.
Shrimp and grits.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what's up with the shrimp and grits?
pretty good. I mean, I don't cook it, so I can't tell you much about it other than
You
they're
don't
good.
go back in the kitchen?
No, I don't. I'm not a cook. I'm not
You're
a cook.
not a cook,
No,
so
I'm
you
not a
know
cook.
where to stay away from
Yeah,
those
I know. I
areas.
know my limitations.
There you go. There you go. All right, you're open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes, sir.
The address is,
19345 Livernois Avenue.
and that's between,
That's between 7 and 8 miles.
and let's get the website once again.
It's Cuzzo'sChickenandWaffles.com.
And if they want to call to get information from you, what's the number?
313-861-0061.
Ron Bartel, thank you for spending
Thank
a
you.
few
Thank you
moments
for having
with us
me.
here in
Appreciate
Tell Us
you.
Detroit. And you will see us soon.
Hopefully. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Where am I looking?
You look at me.
Oh, look at you.
Okay, and we're back. And we're here with Luther King, founder, CEO of Arise Detroit. Hello, sir. How
Hey,
are
man,
you?
it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate
good to
you.
be, good to have you here.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, you were on one of the panels here at the conference today. What was that involved?
Yeah, it was about sustaining neighborhoods, about how can we sustain, support, and improve the neighborhoods of Detroit. So I was on there with a number of other people, more other organizations, talking about what we can do, what is going on in the neighborhoods, and what we can do to build on it to make them better.
And what's going on?
Lots and lots of stuff. We have such an energized community now. The foundations are pouring lots of money into neighborhood organizations. I know there's a lot of criticism at times that Midtown, downtown, but I think they have really got it. So you're finding that all of our major foundations have neighborhood-based initiatives, putting money into hands of people in the neighborhoods to do things like form businesses, block clubs, urban gardening, children's programs. So there's a lot, I mean, literally hundreds of programs and organizations in neighborhoods all over the city where people are actively engaged. That's really one of the most encouraging signs that people are willing to get involved, get to work, and there are, in many cases, resources available to help them execute that work.
Okay, you mentioned research being available. Where would a person go to receive that type of information?
Well, one of the things that, quite frankly, that you can do is sign up for the Arise Detroit newsletter. Go to arisedetroit.org. We do a weekly newsletter to over about 4,000 groups and organizations. It's full of information on funding opportunities, jobs, volunteering, all kinds of programs to get plugged in. One of the things that we have is that sometimes there's a huge disconnect between what's available and the people who need it. So we're trying to close that gap. All the major foundations, Knight, Skillman, Kresge, Kellogg, they're all doing major things in Detroit. They all have neighborhood-based initiatives. Then you have corporate groups like Quicken and DTE Energy Foundation. They also are engaged. So you have to do your homework, do your research, but I'm telling you, there are people out here, organizations, foundations, literally with money to give away if you've got a good plan to do something.
Okay, all right. Now, you mentioned Rise Detroit as being a place that would facilitate some of these organizations and their information.
Yes, exactly.
Tell us a little bit about Arise Detroit.
Wow, we started 11 years ago. As you know, my previous life for 30 years was as a professional journalist. But the idea of behind Arise Detroit was that we create an organization that helps all organizations. So we're kind of like a marketing, advertising agent on behalf of all the groups out here, all the churches, all the block-ups who want to get the word out. That's one thing we do through our newsletter, through our community partnerships, through like Tell Us Detroit and the things that you're doing. To get the word out with them. We connect with our sponsors and corporate to get resources so people can clean up neighborhoods, do urban gardening, sometimes school supplies for kids. So we're a connector. That's what we do. We like to identify where you can get the support you need or connect you with the funder. We don't feed, clothe, or shelter anybody, but we connect with all the groups that do.
Very good.
Yes.
Now you have a very special event coming up this year. You have an anniversary?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
August 6th will be the 10th anniversary of Arise Detroit Neighborhoods Day. Neighborhoods Day is unlike any day that any city does in the country. There may be other Neighborhoods Day, but we think we have the biggest. We know we have the best. We started in 2007 with the idea that, you know, in Detroit we're big on big events downtown, Winter Blast, Summer Blast, fireworks. Those are great. But we wanted to create a day to celebrate the people in the neighborhoods of Detroit, the folks on Linwood and Lawton and Dexter and Homer in the neighborhoods and what they do all the day. So we said on this day, we want you to do something in your own neighborhood to show how you're making a better Detroit. You decide what it is, you decide where it's going to be. The first year we had 55 events, which was a lot for first thing started. We had people building houses with Habitat, we had taking down blight, urban gardens, health fairs, concerts, parades. But it started to grow. It jumped to 100 events, and then 110, and 115, and 125, and 150. Last year we set a record with almost 260 events in sitcoms all over the city of Detroit. So Neighborhoods Day is always on the first Saturday of August. This year it's going to be August the 6th. We're working on some massive things to take it to a whole nother level. We want to make this a national story for Detroit. We're also working on a huge thank you event after Neighborhoods Day that you'll be hearing about. Our thank you to the citizens of Detroit for all the support they have given to Arise Detroit. So in about the next week or so, you'll be able to go to our website, arisedetroit.org, register your group and organization. It's only $50 to register. Before that, you're going to get banners, you're going to get t-shirts, you're going to get a marketing support. If you're doing a neighborhood cleanup, we're going to have supplies, so you can walk into one of our local hardware chains, put your voucher on the table, walk out with supplies for your neighborhood project. So we have a lot of things going on. We're excited about it. And it's been created by the city of Detroit. No foundation runs it. The mayor doesn't run it. The people in the neighborhoods run this. Like last year, we're going to have like over 10 or 12 major festivals all over the city of Detroit, all kinds of music concerts, people building houses with Habitat, people removing blight, people doing urban gardens, street fairs, art fairs, all over the city of Detroit. Nobody does anything like it. And we think it's time that more people know that, hey, this is a spectacular representation of the pride. It's not just pride, but it's also work, because the two go together. So we're excited and looking forward to it. Encourage everyone out there to be part of it.
August 6th.
August 6th.
And once again, the website to get involved?
www.arisedetroit.org, or give us a call at 313-921-1955, 921-1955, and be part of this great celebration for Detroit.
You're always moving forward. Always a pleasure to have
Thank
you
you,
here.
Appreciate you, man.
Luther Keith, Arise Detroit.